Believe the texts were corrupted by the Jews.
Well, you can ask, but I don't necessarily have to answer.
Well, I thought you were here to defend the unity of God. If the Quran is a created text, how is that reconcilable with God being not like anything created?
I don't see any difficulty saying that the Quran is a representation of the thoughts of God.
Are the thoughts in the mind of Allah distinct or not really?
I don't feel the need to make that distinction. I know that Muslim scholars have debated these issues, but to me, it is a dead issue. It is a debate that belongs to the Middle Ages.
The reason I'm going in that direction is that because the reason that you don't believe in the deity of Christ and the Trinity ultimately, I would argue, is because of our philosophical assumptions about who God is and to what degree there are distinctions at that higher level or not. So I think it's absolutely a fair question to ask you whether the attributes or the thoughts or whatever are real distinctions or not.
Well, you can ask, but I don't necessarily have to answer. My refusal to answer would not be a capitulation to accepting the Trinity. Let me point out that our Jewish friends would have presumably the same problem, and yet our Jewish friends have not seen the necessity to adopt the Trinity doctrine into their religion.
But you believe the texts were corrupted by the Jews. So it's arbitrary, it's ad hoc. You pick when you want to take the Jewish stuff and then when you want to reject it. Now you're trying to argue from the Jewish text. So the Jews corrupted the text when you need to look at the text being corrupted by the Jews. But then when you want to refer to the Old Testament as authentic and a genuine revelation of monotheism that you want, that's fine. And then you ask me all these questions about the Trinity. But if I ask the same questions about the Islamic doctrine of essence and attributes, you say I don't have to answer those questions. You don't have to, but how are you avoiding the question? I believe that the personhood and the distinctions in God are on the basis of revelation. They're not on the basis of speculations. You're assuming that God can't reveal more and more of himself over time. Even in Jewish religion, they had the notion that Yahweh gradually unveils more and more of himself. Isaiah knew way more than Abraham knew. That doesn't mean that there's a contradiction, or because Abraham doesn't say everything that Isaiah says, therefore Isaiah can be canceled out because Abraham is who we stick with, right? So there's all these ad hoc assumptions that you have that are not consistent with the presentation of the Quran itself. The question there is, where is the Levitical ceremonies? Where is all the stuff in Exodus relating to the priesthood, to the altar? Where is all of that in Islam? How is there continuity if you want to argue that you have the continuity?